You know that feeling? You wake up in the morning and your mind is already playing a film. But not just any film, a horror movie where you're the main character who always loses. That work meeting turns into a courtroom. That unanswered message becomes proof that you're unwanted. That small problem becomes an irreversible catastrophe. If you've ever felt like this, if you've noticed that your mind has a special talent for taking a situation and turning it into something much bigger and scarier than it really is, then you're in the right place. There's a deep reason why this happens. And there's also a more powerful way to deal with that part of you, which, even while trying to protect you, ends up creating unnecessary suffering. Carl Rogers, one of the wisest psychologists who ever lived, taught us something fundamental. When we lose contact with our real experience and start living in the interpretations we make of it, our mind can become our greatest source of suffering. But here's the good news. You have the power to change that. You can learn to be your own internal validator, your own source of calm and clarity. Imagine your mind as a projector. It takes small events from life and casts them onto a giant screen. The problem is, sometimes this projector is out of alignment. It takes a tiny shadow and projects it as if it were a monster. You send a message to someone important, and they take a while to reply. The real fact is simple. They haven't responded yet. But the projector of your mind starts rolling. It shows on the screen, "They hate me. I said something wrong. I always mess things up. No one takes me seriously." Rogers realized something crucial. We do this because, at some point, we learn to distrust our own experience. We learn to give more weight to our fears than to our ability to handle situations. We grew up hearing that we're not enough, that we need to be perfect, that one mistake could be the end of everything. And our mind, trying to protect us from this supposed danger, builds an alarm system that's constantly going off. The result? We live in a state of constant tension, always expecting something bad to happen, always anticipating the worst-case scenario. But here's what Rogers taught us. You don't have to live like this. You can learn to recalibrate that internal projector to tell the difference between what's real and what's just mental magnification. There's a fundamental difference between feeling a problem and mentally amplifying it. When you feel a problem, you're present with it. You acknowledge it. This is bothering me. I'm worried about this. I need to think of a solution. But when you mentally amplify it, you leave reality and enter a spiral of what-ifs. What if I lose my job? What if no one loves me? What if I'm never happy? The difference is that when you feel the problem, you're still connected to your ability to handle it. When you amplify it, you disconnect from your own strength. Rogers deeply believed in the human capacity to grow and adapt. He saw each person as someone who, deep down, knows what's best for themselves, someone with inner resources to face life's challenges. But to access those resources, you have to stop fighting yourself. You have to stop treating your feelings as enemies and start seeing them as messengers trying to help you. When you feel anxiety, for example, it's not there to destroy you. It's there to signal that something needs your attention. When you feel fear, it's not there to paralyze you. It's there to prepare you for a situation that may require care. The problem isn't feeling. The problem begins when we start creating stories around our feelings, when we start judging ourselves for having them. Rogers spoke about something he called the actualizing tendency, this natural force we all have to grow, to become more authentic, more whole. But this force can only work when we stop fighting against ourselves. Think of a plant. It doesn't need to force itself to grow. It simply grows, naturally, when the right conditions are present. You're the same. You have an inner wisdom that knows exactly what you need in order to grow and feel well. But just like a plant placed in a hostile environment, if you live in an inner world of self-criticism, constant pressure, and persistent fear, that wisdom can't express itself. The good news is, you can create a more nurturing internal environment. You can learn to treat yourself with the same kindness and respect you'd offer a dear friend. When a friend comes to you feeling worried, you don't say, "Stop being dramatic. It's nothing." You listen. You validate. you offer support. You can do the same for yourself. When your mind starts to amplify a problem, you can ask yourself, what would I say to a friend going through this? Chances are you'd be much more realistic and far less dramatic. One of the most powerful things you can learn is the art of internal validation. This means you don't need the entire world's approval to know that you're okay. When you rely on external approval to feel secure, any shift in people's behavior becomes a threat. Someone doesn't reply to your message? It must mean you're not good enough. Your boss didn't praise your work? It must mean you're incompetent. But when you develop your ability to validate yourself from within, you become your own source of safety. You can acknowledge, I did my best. I am a person of worth. I have the right to exist and take up space in this world. This doesn't mean you'll stop caring about others or become arrogant. It means you'll stop living on the emotional roller coaster of depending on others to tell you who you are. Rogers believed that every person has a true self, that authentic part of you that knows who you really are, beneath the masks you wear to protect yourself or to please others. When you connect with that true self, when you learn to trust your own experience, the problems don't disappear, but they lose their power to completely overwhelm you. So next time you notice your mind turning a situation into something much bigger than it really is, take a pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, what's really happening here? Without the stories I'm telling myself, without the interpretations I'm making, what is the actual fact? Maybe the real fact is simply that you're facing a challenge. Maybe it's just that you're feeling fear or uncertainty. Maybe it's simply that you're human, and being human is sometimes uncomfortable. But being human also means having an incredible capacity to adapt, to learn, to grow. You've already gone through so many difficult things in life, and yet you're still here. That's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. Start small. Choose one situation that's been bothering you and practice separating the fact from the interpretation. Practice treating yourself with the same respect you would give to someone you truly care about. Practice trusting your ability to deal with whatever comes. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to be you, with all your humanity, all your fears, and also all your strength. And remember, you are not alone on this journey. Every person you know has felt this way at some point. Every person you admire has had moments of doubt and mental amplification. The difference is that some people have learned how to become their own source of validation along the way. And you can learn too. If this video touched your heart, if you saw yourself in these words, leave a like so more people can find this content. Share it with someone you know who might be going through the same process. And in the comments, tell me, what's the situation your mind loves to amplify the most? Let's create a space of mutual understanding. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this, based on the wisdom of Carl Rogers and the deep belief that each person already has within them everything they need to flourish. Until the next video, and remember, you are much stronger than you think, and far more capable than you allow yourself to believe.